Chosen One!
Hello, welcome all to The Chosen One, a Star Wars Shatterpoint podcast. I am your host, Qui-Gon Din, and today we got a very special guest to talk about all things Empire and Dark Side related. We got none other than the Emperor himself, Sith Emperor Kevin.
Very excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Qui-Gon. This is very exciting. We got some good stuff to talk about today.
Yeah, so how's it been since Adepticon? Caught you and Jesse there, and you guys, I heard you did really well at the Halo event.
Yes, had an excellent time with that. I mean, the weekend in general was just a huge triumph, a great blast. It was my first time doing Adepticon where I split my focus between two different game systems, which was an undertaking. For people who do that every year, I don't know how you do it. Like, hats off to you. That's awesome. It was taxing physically and mentally, but it was such a good time. And yeah, Halo went really well. We competed in the Nationals event on Friday, where Jesse ended up taking first and I ended up taking third. And then we also did the team tournament together on Sunday and ended up winning that for Halo. So we had a really good time with that. But then Shatterpoint also had an amazing time. Entered in the Thursday heat, ended up going 3-1 and sneaking my way into Top Cut, which was unceremoniously cut short Saturday by Daimyo Matt on our stream table. We had a really excellent game, and it was a lot of fun, especially because I was staying in an Airbnb with the guys, right? So it was just, when we found out that we were going to get paired like Thursday night, the next day and a half was just like nothing but shit talking, just back and forth. Like, I mean, Daimyo, we were going to the parking garage and like he had an opportunity to hit me with his car, and it's just like we had this good, it was a good fun back and forth kind of leading up to the eventual match itself, where he did end up taking it. It was a really good, fun game, and if I was going to go out, happy to have it be to a friend like that. So yeah, Adepticon was great. No complaints there.
I had a good. It was my very first Adepticon, very first GT level event for Shatterpoint in general. Day one went 4-0 playing Mace with why can't I think of the Conid's name? Mundi and Mandalorians, and ended up playing Empire all day.
Lucky you, but hey, you rolled through them, so
yeah,
you had a real impressive run there.
And then day two, I ended up winning my first round, and then I got knocked out by none other than Godliness, rocking Vader Iden, and I'm like, well, fifth Iden game of the event. About time she finally knocked me out.
Dang. Well, and in Duncan's hands too. That,
Yeah.
What a way to go out.
So it was a good event. So tell me, what's the flavor of your strike team?
Gonna hit the board, grab the dice and cards. Time to build. A list that hit real hard. Is it clones, droids, or a rebel dream? What's the flavor of your strike team?
So Empire, the strike team with Empire now is just like, I feel like we were already spoiled for choice, and then post update, other things have kind of been like elevated. And I mean, there were nerfs, right? But it wasn't overwhelmingly like, it wasn't like Nerf City, like they didn't bring the hammer down on everything, just a couple things. So I think everything is in a really balanced state, and I think everything in Empire is incredibly viable. And I mean, what a time to be alive, right? Where we have endless choices now.
Yeah, it's very good. I'm very happy about where Inquisitor's at. I'm happy where ISF and Gideon Hask landed. Iden, I still think she probably could have got touched a little bit, but we'll see how it goes.
Oh, for sure, she absolutely should have been. But I'll take Hask in the ISF for now. I'm gauging everything around like MCP and how they've done it with that, and the entire run of that game. It's like maybe there's a future update. Maybe a year from now we get another like Passover of different things, because they've been doing that with MCP, and they've been doing a wonderful job. And so maybe eventually Iden gets touched a little bit, but she's still really good.
Oh, I think she and a couple of the other Imperial primaries are going to be having a lot of fun. Obviously, Vader Emperor Servant is still a threat on the board, and I hate to say it, I think he's way better than Jedi Hunter. Jedi
This is
Hunter.
a fun point of contention that has been present since the arrival of Emperor's Servant, and I absolutely love this conversation because depending on what day of the week it is, I, I do I tend to bounce back and forth. I have a maybe because he came out first and I had gotten so many games in with him, and I still to this day play him pretty regularly. I have a soft spot for Jedi Hunter, and I really enjoy what he does and brings to the table, and I love how they brought the identity in line a little bit more. I think it probably should have always been this, where it's not just everybody, it's like very specific
Yeah.
tags. So this works for me. Happy with it. I still think he does a great job. It's just he needs a little. His partners, I think, are more essential than Emperor Servant. Emperor Servant, you can slap in with literally anything Empire, and you're gonna have a good day. I think Jedi Hunter is a more specific focus and definitely has his merits and value. And I mean, he just works well with Republic. Like it is what it is.
Well, we'll
I know
get to
Aubrey said
that.
I know Aubrey mentioned on your episode that he's
Yeah,
like
why
the
does he
best
have the Loud
Galactic
Republic tag?
Republic character, and I'm
I'm
like,
like,
yeah.
well, good thing is he's kind of at a spot where you now have a serious question, even if you want to take him with Republic, because
Right. I mean, they're just we're not we'll get into Republic eventually, but like they're in a really sweet spot too, like Empire, spoiled for choice, and just take Anakin.
oh yeah, like
You don't even need Vader one anymore.
so. Let's hear your first list because I got a couple myself, and one of them is an Empire list. The other one is Republic because I represent Republic.
That's
But
valid. And to be fair, I also have been playing, I think for the last like 6 or 7 months, I've been playing a lot of Republic as well. And I just like to think of Republic as pre-Empire. So it's all connected. I'm still kind of playing Empire. Palpatine's still running the show. So I get a
Palpatine,
version of that.
he's not running the show; he's running the entire production.
Yep, he's got a hand in everything. So it's an exciting time for Republic, for Empire, for all of it. But jumping into what we're talking about today with this Empire focus list. So I did prepare a couple for this because there's so many different fun combinations I'm looking at and trying out and testing, both showdown and premiere format. But because we largely do this competitively, I tried to keep this to a premiere format in terms of the lists I'm presenting today, just to cover all bases. So the first one I'm looking at right now is, I'll just say my primaries first, and then we'll kind of get into how I plan to pair this off. So I'm
Oh, go
running
for it.
Director Krennic, Moff Gideon, Grand Inquisitor, and Jedi Hunter Vader. So you can kind of tell initially, like, all right, these are going to split off in two very specific ways, which was kind of the focus for this one, just running this at 2 and 2. So Krennic, love the guy, love the character. I mean, especially post Andor season 2, just absolute madness. He's such a little
That's
brat.
my achievement.
Not yours. Yep. And then he dropped so many great one-liners in Andor season 2 also, and I'm just like, this is amazing. Great for Ben Mendelsohn. Loved everything about it. So we're running Krennic for sure. But we're keeping it really simple and straightforward. And I've tried a couple different things with Krennic and various combinations, and what I keep coming back to is just running him with what he comes with in his box. Death Trooper Specialist has become one of my favorite additions to this game, especially in Empire. So I'm absolutely running him there and just putting Death Troopers in with Krennic as well. So Death Trooper Specialist for me, I think fits really well into this wonderful new era. So obviously we all know that there was a pullback in access to coordinated fire and expose in general. Just expose is much more restrictive, harder to have access to outside of really having it in combat trees. But what I love about Death Trooper Specialist is you also have that immunity to expose. So having somebody that just doesn't care about it, even if they do have access to it, with really solid defense expertise. I mean, 1 for 1, 2 for 2, and then 3 getting 2 plus a dash. He's really durable.
He's also really mobile. His play patterns are very similar to that of Armorer, where he can literally just
Yes.
go dash, advance, dash up, expose someone, and then whack them with his gun.
Right, and then he can I love Imperial Brutality, not just for the name, but because of its application in this game, being able to move himself or a supporting unit. And what does this have? It has access to expose. So I'm like, okay, great. He's got a little bit of expose on demand. Being able to utilize himself or one of your supports, I absolutely adore that, especially because it's range unrestricted, right? You just target your allies across the map, have them dash into engagement with a key enemy and expose them. It's really great. And what I love about him too is obviously he can attack twice. We love units that can do that. Oppression, a great ability. Just all around, his stat card is just very good, and his combat tree is also really good. It's basically Rex. It's it's effectively evil Rex, just truly. And with how many games I played Rex, I played him more than any other secondary in this game. So it kind of fit like a glove, just putting this guy in and being like, okay, I know how this guy functions because of how many games I've played Rex and just their similarities there. But I do respect and appreciate their differences as well. Death Troopers being in there, they're just good, solid units. We have come to see that between them and having ARFs have this update too, supporting Fire Dash is a really neat and effective tool to have, and it really just lays on and compounds on this whole like extra movement shenanigans, which we all love. We know movement is king in this game. So Krennic's box just kind of built itself there. Gideon's is almost the same, but slightly different. So I am rolling Gideon and Death Trooper Escort. Again, just leaning in, getting all the Death Troopers possible. And then I've got Shore Troopers with him. Now, Shore Troopers are, as Empire players, we are spoiled for choice when it comes to supports. Dark Troopers, ISF, usually the go-tos, usually the first grabs. They were toned down, but that doesn't mean they're not good and not efficient. They're still very good at what they do. Dark Troopers are still relatively durable. But what I wanted to do was, break out of that mold, try new things. And so the Shore Troopers I've really come to fall in love with, if for no other reason than Garrison Force, being able to give them steadfast protection.
They are mini fifth, they are mini fifth brothers. They are,
and there's 2 of them. It's like this is really excellent stuff. And what do they also have? I mean, they've got diceless displacement for the Empire.
They essentially replace stormtroopers in the stormtrooper lists.
They just completely took their spot, stole their lunch money, just everything. It's like these are the ones to take now because of those abilities that they have.
It also helps that their models are some of the best Imperial support sculpts out of the bunch.
Yes, they are absolutely stunning, gorgeous models. And so, yes, I mean, displacement for the Empire is always welcome, but what I appreciate about these guys too is like they're there really to just body points and give out pins, given that they have pin a step into their tree, which is very reliable. If we can just kind of pin down key targets and keep them where I need them to be while I'm just running all over the board, controlling points, that's what we want to do. And the emphasis of this list too is all my secondaries and supports have protection. Yes, Shore Troopers are hinging on them being on an active objective, but the other 3 just innately having it means that they're going to stick around a little bit longer than they probably should. Moff Gideon, since he's came out, has just been a solid staple piece in Empire. He doesn't require force. I very rarely am I using or like actually actively spending for Long Live the Empire. This is why I love Gideon, is he just brings you 3 force, doesn't really spend a lot. Very much like GI when I play him. I like these primaries where they can just provide force to the team and they don't need to spend any themselves. And obviously him swiping points is great. Him taxing your opponent is so irritating, but assume that I know everything is one of my favorite abilities in this entire game. Absolutely adore it. And what he does here is just tie everything together in my mind. Being able to rip control off of objectives from people with you have something I want. And most of the team can benefit from that extra melee die. Like,
Well,
these guys are shooters, yes, but all the Death Troopers can get in there and throw hands without a problem.
they all have the same expertise in melee and in range, so the extra dice is just it's good. DTS, especially with the extra melee dice, when he likes to be running in there and just butting base right up first, because he usually wants to send himself to expose the opponent because he's immune to the expose. So, like armor, he has
Exactly.
a way to clear it, and you're not leaving yourself at a spot. Oh, I'm gonna get exposed myself, so I might get killed later down the line. Nope, he's immune to it.
He's just such a bully, and it really just fits with the character. The lore is right. It is good. It is a good spot to be in, and it just looks really cool on the table, having all of the Death Troopers on the table. Obviously with Krennic there, obviously with Gideon there. Like, these are people who will have these Death Trooper like escorts and personal guards. So it just fits. It's a lore win. And then yes, I prefer Shore Troopers in this spot. You could absolutely just take Dark Troopers and just run the Gideon box as is. You still have a unit with protection. All of your guys are wearing black armor then, except for Krennic and his flowy, majestic white cape. And it just also looks really visually stunning. So again, this is like dealer's choice at this point. I prefer Shore Troopers. You want Dark Troopers? Absolutely slap them in the spot. Go for it. But that is one part of how I want to run this premiere. This is just a really flexible, durable list that I enjoy, and I love Krennic.
Krennic's
He's
so
just
good.
a really entertaining piece to use in this game. I know he may not currently have the highest win rate, but there's still time. There's
I
still time to
think
fix that.
he's one of those primaries that actually takes reps. My brother plays him constantly. Him and Vader Emperor Servant is his favorite combination right now. He loves Krennic.
I love that.
Playing into Krennic a lot. He has this ability he has a slow start. Like, unlike any of the other Imperial lists, he ends up having a slow start. But once he gets the ball rolling and he starts doing this snowballing effect of you starting to get wounds off and then him getting the extra attacks in, things can turn around really quickly. Every time I play against Celeste, it has a slow burn, but once it gets going, it becomes an actual fight. And he's good. He just takes a
I
little
mean,
bit
that
of
also
reps.
fits absolutely that, and that actually kind of fits the Krennic lore and in history and story perspective. There, slow start, all these delays and stuff on the Death Star project, and it's like, yeah, Krennic is a little slow to get there, but once that Death Star is complete, once that thing's fully operational, and that the engine is running, like, it's a problem. And he is very much a snowball character. I'm glad you pointed that out. Definitely a character that needs lots of reps and practice, but he can really pile on your lead once you start to get ahead. And that slow burn also works in his favor because you are able to, at least early game before he gets wounded, and you ideally are playing this correctly and you're starting in arrogance so that your concerns are hardly warranted, are only costing you one. Being able to have a couple of turns of just denying momentum can really do a lot to hinder.
I had a game a couple nights ago where I was playing Ewoks and I was so close to I blitzed the whole midline right off the bat with Leia Logray. The list is great now, by the way. That list has gotten a huge buff.
Yes.
And it's really scary. And I played it with Luke, but I think I should have played it with 3PO, to be honest. But
what a wild time we live in, where that's a statement that is actually credible now.
It is a huge statement. And yeah, no, I'm one away from scoring out. I am like, oh, I got a momentum here. I'm going to be able to score out. Oh no, he denied it twice. He then ends up taking struggle one because I can't gain momentum. He did the ability like 3 turns in a row and just kept pulling it back until all my stuff eventually got wounded. And it was a struggle 1 took an hour and 15 minutes to complete, and then struggle 2 was over really quickly because everything was dead.
I mean, listen, Krennic is a scummy piece of shit, so like this definitely is on brand for the character. And yeah, I just adore him. I think they absolutely nailed this character, and he's he's up there with. I mean, I love playing both Vaders. Don't get me wrong, but he's absolutely up there with Vader in terms of like what I enjoy the most, along with like Gideon in Empire. It's just he's a good time. So that half of the list, love, very durable, kind of an all rounder, can do a lot of things. But then the other half, we have to lean into the Inquisitors because, oh my God, you want to talk about a glow up? These guys are just on another level now. And it's really refreshing to see because I know there are a lot of people who, in terms of the Empire, their favorite part of it aesthetically or lore wise is the Inquisitorius. It is that kind of era of, post Fall of the Jedi where we are still going around the galaxy hunting Jedi. And you can do that really effectively now. I mean, Grand Inquisitor is just really a kick-ass model now.
Well,
But
here,
everything about him is just good, and that identity is so perfect. Just blanket, recover, force refresh for wounding things in Empire, which is literally all Empire wants to do.
it means you can even take him outside of Inquisitors. You could just take him as a secondary, as another primary
You
now.
100%
And
could. I've definitely entertained that idea of just not having him with any Inquisitors, just to like put that identity into any kind of Empire list, an Empire gunline list, whatever you want. What I keep coming back to is my only hesitation with that is I don't like playing characters where I can't utilize all their abilities. So not being able to dash somebody else with who we are feels a little bad, but it's not the worst thing because he can still dash. Like it's fine. It's totally fine. So you could slap him in there with fourth sister, fifth brother, Riva, whoever you want, and then run something else. I know you had mentioned in that conversation with Aubrey, elite squad troopers. An advantage of GI is he can actually lead them, and they have a lot of diversity.
We'll get into that. Spoiler for my list.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves then. But so with this one, it's just GI. It's third sister. It's fourth sister. It's double sister. She is. I mean, they're both just
it's such a
exceptional
good
pieces
package.
now.
It's such a good package.
Yeah, the fact that I'm like, okay, do I like fourth sister more than fifth brother now? I think I do, just for her utility. And I'm like 9 times out of 10, Call the Hunt is being used on sister over brother solely for that ranged attack and the ability to then dash on 2 expertise. It's not always going to happen, but when it does, you can just swipe points with fourth sister on Riva's turn in ways that maybe your opponent didn't see coming. Now, I do
Yeah.
have Jedi Hunter, like I mentioned, because it's Inquisitorious. We're killing people, we're getting in there and throwing hands, and Vader enables that. So he's here. He's here to do the thing and help them keep topping off that force. I did take Bosk because with 7 force, GI not really spending any, and force refresh, I pretty much always have the force I want to be able to payday this guy and make him Empire. Just so he can benefit from Vader's dice.
Made Bosk with 10 melee dice. Like, I played Bosk with IG-88 with the gun and an M-string. Him getting into melee is nuts.
It's pretty gross. Yeah, having that many melee dice is pretty disgusting on him because his expertise conversion rate is pretty good. And he's just got access to a lot of shoves, which he's probably getting to in this list. And then, if you wound somebody because you made him Empire, cool, you get your force back. So you basically just paid off the payday debt. He just works in this, in my mind. And I do have fifth brother there just to go, as much Inquisitors as possible. This, again, could be a 2-model support unit if that's what you're interested in. You could mix it up and you could literally throw whatever you want in there. I just want to do brother because I want more Inquisitors. And he's got expose. He's one of the few people left with expose.
Yeah, it's probably the reason you take him now. Most of the time when I've activated fifth brother, I'm with you on I like fourth sister way more now. Most of the time when I'm activating fifth brother, he doesn't even get an attack. He moves, jumps up, hunkers. Like, him only having a melee attack is it's a detriment now.
And then if I need to, like, yeah, sure, because you've got access to the refresh with a pool of 7, if you just need to do exactly that and just jump onto a point and then repulse a bunch of people off, like, I'll happily spend 3 force on this guy's turn to just make sure I absolutely dominate 1 point.
Yeah, it's basically his job. Fourth Sister is now the more dynamic one where she's going around the board, pulling people off points. Basically, she's Darth Maul as a support. You can't go
Yeah,
wrong with
Darth
that.
Maul light. No, you can't, because Maul does have an incredible amount of control with that, and I do enjoy the flexibility of what she provides. And again, I'm just gonna keep harping on that ranged attack that she has is so good.
And in Feeble Pin, Pin is getting more and more important these
Hmm.
days. With the game becoming less killy because everything's stamina kind of getting bringing up, the lack of expose, less stuff's dying.
More revenge trigger characters. Cough cough rebels.
That's basically Revenge of the Faction at this point.
Yes.
But yeah, still can't wait for Generous. I love the Rogue One era stuff. Like Rogue One is probably
Hmm.
next to the Episode 3 Follow the Jedi era. It's my favorite era. Rogue One, Rebels. I love the in between quels and prequels.
Yes, it's just peak Star Wars. I absolutely adore it as well. Rogue One is still my favorite Star Wars movie. It's like I think it's tied there with Revenge of the Sith because Revenge of the Sith is just so
Did you go?
integral to the overall story and the conclusion of that era of Anakin's arc, and it's just like just the memories of like going to see it in theaters like
Did,
growing up
did you
and
go to
the campiness.
Did you go to the
Oh
20th
yes,
anniversary?
I sure did. I actually went with my little sister. We went together to see it, and we just had an absolute blast. It was cool because they had the little right before the movie began, like Hayden came out on screen and just like thanked everybody for being there, and I was like, oh my god, Hayden, my always a soft spot in my heart. Absolutely adore him. And the movie was a great time. I mean, we've seen it a billion times, so it's like that's nothing new. But it
It
was
was
cool
my
to experience that in theaters again.
it was my 10th time seeing it in theaters. Like it was the movie I saw the most
Amazing.
growing up. I can quote that movie. I was quoting it in the theater. The memes, everything. Like the movie's great. It's my favorite Star Wars film.
It
And
yeah, it's like, and that's why like I say like I cannot pick one over the other because it is tied for two very different reasons. Like Rogue One is just such a good, compelling story about like just Jin says it perfectly in that like we're gonna take the next chance and the next chance until we win or we run out of chances. And it's
it's
like
got
I just love that kind of aspect of Star Wars, that like gritty realism of like these are just regular people like doing the best they can against insurmountable odds, and I adore that. And then inversely, I love how fucking campy and over the top outrageous Revenge of the Sith is. Every time Ian McDiarmid came on screen, we both had this like shit-eating grin, and we're just like just because he really sells it, and I you could tell he's having a great time in this role because he is just like living for the camp, just giving you all this extra drama added to every single one of the lines he delivers, and it's an entertaining time. So we definitely had a good time seeing it again in theaters.
it's good. It made me realize too, especially after watching Clone Wars. Me and my brother came out of this theater watching it, and when Yoda says "Let go," we're like, "Oh, we thought Anakin's turn to the dark side was more because of Mace. No, Mace did nothing wrong. Yoda is a piece of shit." After watching the context of Clone Wars, where he's like when he's talking to Qui-Gon's Force Ghost and Anakin
Hmm.
helps him out, then all of a sudden you go to Episode 3 and you go to Yoda instead of listening to Anakin. Oh no, just let go of all the things you love.
Yeah, right. It's because that's so easy to do. It's
And
just it's
me and
terrible
my
advice.
me and my brother came out of that and we're like, you know what? Mace is looking much less like the bad guy in the Anakin turning to the dark side.
Right. I mean, Mace definitely had a hand in that and definitely made some mistakes, but like Yoda was just so, I mean, he'd been around on the job too long. Like
Yeah.
nobody needs to be running the show for that many hundreds of years. Like that's outrageous. Like you need to step down at some point. I'm like, it just
Yeah. The
the biggest
hubris
disservice
and
to
the
Anakin. It was just yeah, it's the hubris. It's the whole refusal to have attachments thing, like that kind of part of the Jedi code is definitely what did them in the end. I
yeah,
definitely appreciate
like
Luke's later approach to it. It's like you can have healthy attachments. You can
well, it's
have
his
things you care
attachment.
about.
It's Luke's attachments that actually saved the galaxy. Like it's what
Hmm.
led them to turn Vader into Vader actually, being the actual chosen one, bringing the Sith down and bringing balance to the Force.
Yeah, so Yoda screwed everybody over.
Yeah.
That's what and then he didn't even get to die in Order 66. He got to like flee and just go live in exile. So
Yeah, but yeah, no, the Inquisitor list has really, really been something. Like I've been playing against Inquisitors. I'm really liking where they're at. Just
completely agreed. Just a really great time. So like this is kind of my first of many iterations of what we're looking at with Empire, but like this is my go-to best of both worlds. I get to play more games with Moff, which I'm never going to say no to, alongside Krennic, who's just an absolute joy to play. And then if I want to pivot into just some hard-hitting melee fighting, I've got Inquisitors and Bosk, and it feels really good to me. So that's where I'm starting off at with Empire.
So what mission would you be bringing with that one? Because it looks like you can play on any mission for the most part, but like I'm not sure if you'd want to play on Never Tell Me the Odds.
I would prefer not to. I think if I'm doing Never Tell, I'm probably leaning into Moff Krennic if I am being forced into that scenario.
Yeah,
I don't love Jedi Hunter on Never Tell. I never have. The only time I will play him on that is if I have like Luminara with him, right? And I have like, okay, if I'm killing somebody, at least we're getting some extra movement in there. He does just struggle in that, in my opinion. I've played plenty of games with him on there, and I don't really enjoy it. So I think with the Inquisitor update, I'm sure they could function better than they did previously. I still think that I'm probably going to Moff Krennic for that. That being said, I ideally am playing Sabotage or Shifting with this list. I would prefer Sabotage. It's still, to this day, my favorite of the 4 mission packs, and I don't know that's going to change. I haven't really been compelled to one of the new ones yet. I appreciate them. I appreciate the shakeup with First Contact.
First Contact's really good. Spoiler alert for my opinion on First Contact. If you're good on Sabotage, you're actually going to be pretty good on First Contact. The layouts are very similar. It looks more spread out on First Contact.
At a glance, it definitely does.
But the way that the struggles flip and the extra clever ploys allowing you the extra movement on some of your stuff, it means even melee lists. I play Republic and like playing mace lists and whatnot, I have no problems on First Contact. Never Tell.
Oh, no, he absolutely loves that.
Never Tell, that mission can suck a dick. I hate that mission.
I am right there with you. It is my least favorite of the 4. Lots of feels bad experiences for not just myself, but like my opponent as well. It's like sometimes it just really screws you over. So yeah, I try to not play Never Tell. Actually, I never actually pick Never Tell. If I'm running a mission, it's not even a consideration for me. I will play any of the other 3 before that. And then I always have this like groan when I when I see my opponents playing Never Tell, and I'm like, ugh. I need to win Prio. I cannot play this objective.
It's still funny enough that at Adepticon, so day 2, first round, I'm playing against a Lumi Kieta Mundi list. And I win initiative, and I could play on Sabotage, and I picked Mandalorians into this because he also had an Empire list, and Mandos were my counter to Empire. And I saw, I'm like, I have Sabotage here. I could bring my Sabotage, but he's bringing Never Tell, and I'm like, I'm just going to pick Never Tell. I'm playing Mandos, and I can play probably faster than Jedi. Paz, and I flip up the X struggle 1, and my first activation is Paz. So Paz does this thing right to the middle of the X. You now have to attack Paz. Paz had 6 injure tokens on that game.
That's outrageous.
Yeah. So the one time I played Never Tell Me the Odds, because I do not like them.
I got lucky that I didn't have to play that in Heat 1 for day 1. Yeah, I think all of my games were. I think all 4 of my games were Sabotage, believe it or not.
I also heard that you avoided Iden for most of the day.
I avoided Iden until Daimyo Matt's game in Top Cut. Yeah, I was very happy to dodge her. But then, yeah, she came out in full force and she did her thing. It was
Yeah, I fought 4 of them.
I would have. I don't know. And then you won all those too, so it's like that's just
until Sith Emperor Kevin. Like,
it's
uh,
just like, God, it's damn it, Iden.
I have to
Still
say,
good.
it's like while I'm on the Adepticon subject, my funnest round was still round 2. I played into Thrawn, Thrawn Charming Leia, and it was the whole spy synergy, really movement scoreless. And I'm playing on shifting, and he takes like the whole midline. And then I had this one play. I'm like, I'm playing Windu Mundi. I Shatterpoint Windu. He's on Vapad. Throw 10 dice into ISB. Pre balance pass mace. Oh, I only did 6 damage. Even with the 10 die attack, his conversion on his expertise is so
The
bad.
expertise is just not good. It was insulting what it
But it
used to be.
set up my play for next turn because pawns flipped me 4 points.
Say that again for the listener. You said pawns.
Yeah. So
Pawns flipped you 4 points.
yeah, pawns. What he did was
madman.
His tactic dashes a Padawan up to the far right side of the board. Mace is engaged with ISB. And Pons, so I'm like, okay, Pons needs to move up, needs to kill the ISB, but also needs to get the reposition on its tree, which is only 2 steps in. He shoots the ISB, he full trees like he usually does for me because his tree is actually good. I reposition him to the center point to take it. The wound using Mundi's identity dashes that Padawan that I dashed towards the point up to the other point, and Leia does her revenge trigger into Pons, but does nothing because Pons is within Mace's bubble, and I just took the entire midline off of a
That's
Pons
excellent.
play.
Listen, you love to see it. Pons is
He's
not as terrible as you. Even then, like I've definitely had some mixed success with him, and yes, you were right. His conversion rate is pretty good. His tree is not too difficult to get through. I've enjoyed running him with like Hunter in there because like a Hunter Mace.
yeah, like
definitely was a good time.
And that was the one game I played Mace because every other list I'm like, I'm so much Empire, and Mace does not like Empire. Mace doesn't care about Empire anymore. I'll put Mace Mundi into Empire now. Thank you, Balance Pass.
Mace doesn't care about many things anymore, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm just trying to rock as many games with him as possible.
Like, but yeah, no. The Inquisitor with and the Krennic getting duty. Would you ever like do any different pairings with that Premier list, or is it literally just a 2x2?
I would prefer the 2x2, but I do like to have sneaky options available to me should I need them. So, is there a world where I can just do a surprise flip? Probably. Would I absolutely show up to an event and be like, no, this is a 2-2, and I'd be talking about it for days leading up to it, but then in the back of my mind, I would know, like, okay, I can have, like, the sneaky, like, surprise pairing if I need it. So, yes, that 100% is viable here.
I do think the Vader with Gideon pairing could actually work, especially if you're doing the whole melee centric that one.
Yes. So I could pair it that way. The other one I was gonna do was actually GI and Krennic. So that is another way that I could flip it. Just because being able to have GI in there with that force refresh just means that I'm gonna have more access to your concerns are hardly warranted from Krennic.
And again, snowball effect, you have multiple characters that allow additional attacks on their turn. Reva allowing Fourth Sister another attack. You got the Krennic with the support Stormtroopers getting an attack. It just at incremental points of damage.
Yes, absolutely. And
so it quickly gets to where it's getting multiple wounds a turn, and it's the snowball effect.
And getting force back into heals on top of it. It's like, so yes, this is a 2-2, but like put that in quotations because you could flex this a couple different ways. And that's how I enjoy building Premier the most is like I like the clearly defined 2-2. I like my opponent to think it is the clear 2-2, but then you have that option to mix and match where necessary, which is easier to do when you're playing all one faction, all one tag. It's a little trickier if this is like a Krennic Moff, and then the other half of mine is like Republic. It's like it gets a little dicier there, but if you're doing pure Empire or pure faction, you can pull these shenanigans. You can have these fun, gotcha moments. So this is, in my mind, kind of the most flexible, interchangeable version of what I want to try to accomplish with Empire.
So for my list, I'm doing it is a 2x2. And you could call it Empire adjacent. One list is clearly Empire themed. The other list is pre-Empire themed, but it's an Anakin list. And it's not like the standard Anakin list. It's a little spicy.
I'm already intrigued.
So my first half of the list, this is an Inquisitor list. It's Grand Inquisitor, Reva, Elite Squad. The pairing with this is Luminara, Crosshair, Fourth Sister. The idea of Lumi here is I want wounds, healing. When one of my guys goes down, I want more healing. And so what this list is doing is Elite Squad are probably the most attrition-heavy support in Empire now. Their expertise in throwing 9 dice is nuts. So they're spreading that 6 damage constantly. And some of the cool play patterns that this list has is when Reva is utilizing Fourth Sister to, do a range attack. If she gets a wound off that, Lumi triggers a dash, meaning Reva gets an additional dash, which might actually get her into combat if it's earlier struggle. And
that's beautiful.
And then again, Force Refresh, Inquisitor doing his thing. I learned that Grand Inquisitor and Reva are like 2 of the few characters that can survive an Anakin assault. So putting them up against Anakin is also a strategy.
Absolutely.
Reva's defense is cracked. Like the glow up on her is so good. And Crosshair's here because I love playing Crosshair any chance I can get, but the only time I really play him is when I can get something out of that wound.
Absolutely, yeah. I fully on board with that. Yeah, the Lumi Crosshair just works so well. Played it plenty. It's amazing.
Yeah, I also put him with Mace, and when I'm playing Mace Mundi now, Pawns was replaced by Crosshair. Spoiler for my actual new Mace list, but so that's the Inquisitor half. It's pretty basic on what it's trying to do. It has a lot out of activation movement. It is a wound heavy list. You're trying to wound stuff with Elite Squad, with Crosshair, and then I love the mobility. We didn't really touch on this on how fast Grand Inquisitor is now with his saber throws, but he is. I like him in melee, but I almost like just using range attack with him more.
Definitely a lot of flexibility there. I mean, what's not to love about dash on 1 expertise?
Dash on 1 expertise, 2 results gets a reposition. He's now throwing 6 dice instead of that 4.
We're not going to talk about that 4. That was just an absolute sin. That never should have existed.
Right. So that's the Inquisitor half. This Anakin half, I think you'll like. So it's Anakin Rex Arfs. That's the true pairing. You could swap Rex for Ahsoka, but you have
you're doing you're doing the right thing. No, it's Rex all day. I cannot play Republic without Rex.
I can with Mace Mundi, but that's the only list, and that's because it's a Jedi themed list.
That's valid.
But with Anakin, you got to have Rex. The pairing alongside that, though, is Cad Bane, Shaak Ti, Wolfpack. Anakin now, when Anakin's wounding, he is now refreshing 2 Force every time he wounds. So he almost completely refunds himself, and you still have enough out of activation movement to do your kit. And Cad Bane is just a menace, and having him have access to Shaak Ti's dash keeps him out of engagement. It allows you to add even more damage, so you're just constantly refreshing Force. And I love Wolfpack here. I put Strain in any list that I want coordinated fire strain in any list that has Anakin or Mace. It allows them to hit damage thresholds that are just insane.
You are, yes, spot on with that. 8 damage in 3 on Anakin is just mind blowing.
And the Wolfpack, everyone's talking about the 212 as like the best clone update. I think 212 are good. Wolfpack are insanely good, in my opinion. That climb at the end of their tree now makes sense because now they have a dash on 3. If they full tree, which they very well can do if you're meleeing them next to another clone, they become mobile monsters, and their conversion rate on their expertise, they have the best expertise of any clone, I think, now.
It's very good. That melee is just nuts.
Melee, and then you're still throwing 7 dice at range with a crit on your 1 expertise. I love them.
Yeah, it's fantastic. They are definitely in a very good spot.
Loved them before, love them way more now. I didn't expect them to get buffed because I'm like, I knew that all the regular clones were going to like gain a stamina, but upping the wolf packs.
The tweaks made there are just fantastic. I'm glad you brought up the wolf pack here. I appreciate the 212, and I had been running them pre-update because I still thought they were fine. I just like the access to the pin, and yes, their defense sucked ass, but it's fine. It's a little better now. But I do agree that this wolf pack is probably the better inclusion here for reasons you just stated. ARF's obviously great for assisting people moving around a little bit more without supporting fire, and the ARF's tree untouched is it's still just a really great combat tree.
In my opinion, they're still probably the best clone support overall. Like, they're probably still your first grab. Like you said, that dash is just too good, and they still had that. They're pretty killy if they're focusing firing into something because they can condition stuff.
Yes, absolutely. I think I have a soft spot for 501st.
Oh, they're so good now.
I do like what they did, and I think at first pass I was like, okay, like this. I could see there's an obvious improvement, but I didn't really experience it till the first time I put them on the table post update, and I was like, oh, okay, so these guys can just dish out. If they both attack the same person, they can just dish out 7 damage between 2 attacks, 2 steps into the tree each. Like
they're clones that can actually kill, or they can set up kills for what I'm trying to do with Mundi or Anakin or Mace. Like, I love them in any team that's running Lumi or Kiata Mundi. They are my go-to. In those lists, I even love them more than ARFs. Like,
I completely agreed. They really just set it up, and they've got that very early damage potential. And I have tried a game with them and Wolfpack just to be like, no matter what, someone's getting strained when I attack, just to have double access to it. Maybe it's overkill, but
it's fun.
Handing out strains like candy is a good time.
I like what they did to the clones. Like, they didn't overtune them because they can't overtune any of the clones. We have Delta Squad coming out, and that might break the game if that happens. I think leveling them up the way they did was a good job for the balance. But yeah, I had to get Cad Bane in here because I've been loving Cad lately. He has been. Me and my brother, we did a test game with Cad Bane, and I did all bounty hunters, the Mando, Bosk, IG-11, Cad Bane, IG-88 bounty hunters. And I played that against Dathomirians. We ended that game with 18 wounds. Like,
that's disgusting.
Oh yeah. The revenge trigger, everything died. It's a fun list, but what kills the bounty hunters, this lack of activation movement, means that you can kill stuff all you want, but if you can't take points, you still can't win the game.
Right, absolutely correct.
Like, but yeah, it's a good. He's fun though. Still like him with Shock T as like my pick for best secondary for him, but IG-88, it's pretty spicy. I've been liking the bounty hunter update. But yeah, no, my list was just I had to bring what I wanted to play, like Grand Inquisitors. I wanted to make Grand Inquisitor work for the longest time. And my first list was him with Moff Gideon and then playing DTE with Firebrand
Yep.
because Reva was bad. And I still put both Fourth Sister and Fifth Brother on field, and that felt all right. But post Bounce Pass, kind of feel bad for Firebrand. No reason to ever take that model anymore.
Unfortunately, something had to lose in all this winning, and
Yeah, and
Firebrand is one of them.
the biggest loser is Crosshair Primary. The biggest winner is Godliness Duncan because his
You're
build.
right. The man who's been playing Grand Inquisitor since he came out, and now
Yeah,
this model
and
is just
now you
taking
can
over.
expect him to be playing it a lot more.
Yeah, I really like the combinations here. I'm always a fan of Luminar, just going in a list that wants to murder. That's exactly why I ran her with Jedi Hunter. That's where I've had the most success with Jedi Hunter, is with Lumi, and it definitely just works. And I appreciate Crosshair in there. You've still got an Inquisitor for Third Sister to benefit from, and yeah, Elite Squad in a really good spot right now. Much like 212th, just being able to put out
A
a
lot
lot
of
of damage,
damage.
and that just conversion into crits is just
And the reason why I
kind
think
of insane.
they're way better than 212 is they can do all that damage while still moving. I wish 212 had run and gun.
If only, if only. Yeah, free access to focus would have just really made
Yeah,
them top tier, but you gotta work for that focus now.
yeah, you got to work for it. I like them with pawns. Like Mace Pawns 212 has been a team that I have put on table. The forward deployment on them means one dash gets them onto the midline. So
Yes.
their defensive maneuver, midline, focus and shoot.
Yeah, we probably should mention that the update to Pawns for deployment is so good now. It's
Now there's
you
an
can do some
actual
really tricky things with them.
there's a reason to take pawns. You don't even have to put both support characters deployed from pawns. You can have pawns with one, and then you can put one next to the primary. Like you
Yes,
can,
there's a lot of creativity with it.
it's really cool. I'm glad it wasn't just deploy 3 instead of deploy 2. Let's give it infiltrate. I'm like, I like that they reined it in a little bit. It's not as good as infiltrate, which infiltrate, in my opinion, is a busted ability on a support.
Oh yeah,
That
it always has been.
that you could call that a hot take, but I think infiltrate breaks the game.
It's definitely very overwhelmingly powerful. It's always been good, and especially with just with Iden box, right? Because how many times have we been in games where we're playing Iden or against Iden on shifting, and she goes first, and they draw her first, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna take your entire midline, and I'm gonna kill somebody in your deployment.
Yep,
Yeah, infiltrate enabling that is just gross.
it's either you take the midline with her or a DTE activation takes the entire midline, and you're like, yep, it made it way too consistent.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. So yeah, infiltrate definitely kind of a back-breaking ability there.
so onto the state of the Empire. Who do you think's top dog in Empire right now?
Top dog in Empire. Oh my god. So my knee-jerk reaction is to want to say GI. I think there is a very credible argument for him being up there because of his overall utility. Again, I love a primary that doesn't require them to spend force. Doubly so if it's a primary that not only doesn't spend force himself, but also allows your team to refresh it with relative ease. I think he's just a slot in. He can pair with anybody in Empire because he is just so consistently good with that identity and what he does, with his utility, with his mobility. He's just kind of jack of all trades, really gets it done for Empire. So I like him a lot. I think he might just be the
I think
top one right now. If I look across the spectrum, Emperor Servant still very good. Iden still very good.
I
The
I'm with you. I in all except I think he's going to be the most splashed, and he is the most jack of all trades. He does support. He's not really like a wound heavy in it, but what he's going to allow Iden to do now. Iden's biggest weakness beforehand was her stuff getting wounded and your force economy going back.
Force cost going up.
It's why the Armorer Mando has a decent pairing into Iden. It was a decent counter. That doesn't happen anymore.
Not anymore, because Iden's still going to kill things, and then she's just going to get extra. Just the idea of giving an Inquisitor a heal, you getting a Force refresh, and then Iden also gets to heal and dash, and then give out a condition, all from her wounding something is just absolutely insane.
My pick for best list in the game is probably, it's either going to be like Andor Kanan, or it's going to be Iden Grand Inquisitor. Iden
GI is disgusting.
Iden, DTE, ISF, and Grand Inquisitor Reva, Fourth Sister. You get this Imperial gunline list that has a lot of movement. It can play the scoring game, and it plays the wounding game. And now your force economy is kind of fixed going up against Mandalorians, which means you can play the wounding game. And now you have an answer to Paz because you've got Fourth Sister.
It's
going to be great.
A lot.
It's really good. Like Vader, Iden used to be the boogeyman. I think the new boogeyman of the Empire is Iden Grand Inquisitor. I think that list has the most legs.
I mean, there are two people that just like you were saying. It's just he enables so much of the Imperial machine and what they already want to do, which is just murder and oppress things. Like that's just the Empire, and Iden still does that better than most with her hypermobility and just ridiculous
ISF
combat tree.
ISF still hit like a truck. They're not as killy, but they focus down stuff. They're still going to kill supports and and secondaries.
Yes, they will. They will absolutely still get that done, and you just get to reap the rewards with two primaries who trigger abilities off of wounds, and it is so consistent, and it really does shore up Iden's weakness, which is her force economy struggling after she's wounded.
If Adepticon were tomorrow, I think that would be the list to prepare for.
Yes, you actually you definitely need some practice into it. You need to know how to take it on. There's obviously no list is unbeatable. You can play into it.
I think an attrition Republic team going Mace Anakin or Vader with Mundi, it'll become a slap fight. That's the state of fighting Empire right now. Is you're either playing revenge or you're playing
or fire with fire. You're either doing the revenge list or you're taking the Luthen Rail approach, which is my personal approach, which is okay. I'm just gonna play your game against you, and we're gonna see who comes out on top.
Yeah, and that's the trick. Like Anakin is a wild card here. I don't think Anakin is the best primary. Like, this spoiler alert for my next episode. My next episode's topic is going to be Mace versus Anakin in a comparison. Because I've been testing both heavily, and my thoughts and results may surprise you. Mace is the more consistent primary.
I will already agree with you because while I was probably most hyped for Anakin, having played several games with each, I find myself gravitating towards Mace more often, and he's so consistent in everything they've done with him is great. I thought at first glance too that I was going to just be living in Vapod because I'm like, yes, give me a 5 dice attack on a Shatterpoint ability, or 5 to 8 dice attack.
I've noticed I've never used a 5 die attack. I start him in Vapod, gets the dash up on a Shatterpoint, and then
you're just Jedi Master. See, I start in Jedi Master, and I don't think I've, like, the last couple games I played with him, I don't think I've left Jedi Master because it's all structured around that Force refresh is just too good.
Well,
I would rather have that.
So I use the aggression on Mace's Vapad because my big Republic pairing is Mace with Mundi. It's basically my new favorite list is my updated worlds list. It's Mace with Crosshair and Arfs, and then it's Mundi, Shakti, Philother. That is just the list that I'm really on right now. And per deck refresh, until stuff starts getting wounded, I only need 3 Force for all my movement abilities because it's just Crosshair and then the 2 clone supports. It leaves me 5 Force and an 8 Force list I can go rip on pumping up dice for Mace. Mace becomes a like Vader-like character because I will just constantly put 3 Force into his attack and let him rip. Because he dashes someone, he gets a wound, then Mundi dashes a Jedi. The idea is I'm using Mundi and I'm using Windu, and in combination, you're kind of getting the same result out of Anakin getting a wound. But if Mace doesn't get the wound, I still get to move people with his tactic, and he still has an identity that pumps people by protecting them with protection steadfast.
Yeah.
It's the way I look at it, Mace has a higher floor, more consistent baseline. Anakin has the higher potential for crazy plays.
Yes.
In a competitive event, do you want the more consistent play, or do you want the play that you have to literally build your whole list around? Anakin is a hyper carry, and if that hyper carry fails one turn, you may lose the game.
It's definitely risky. And I am fully at fault for. I do love that playstyle, but yes, I think I have kind of turned away from that to something that's more consistent. And yeah, I think Mace is just
Mace,
a consistent piece.
I'm happy with his change. Anakin is still fun. I put him on the table a lot, but the Mace is the drug that keeps on pumping into my veins.
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to describe it. It's I love that they have range attacks too. I think that's a huge win for them. The number of times that I'm actually using Force Blast for Mace.
So
And just being able to be like, okay, I'll just do like this 9 dice ranged attack with a ton of shoves. And it's if you get lucky and spike, it's still 9 damage.
I even on his Jedi Master side, I'm not afraid to pump him full of dice, even if it's on a. So the math on it how it works out is on Jedi Master, you'll spend 2 Force on his attack, so that way his attack goes to 8, so you hit that 2 expertise more likely, because that's his best conversion spot on that side.
Yep.
And on Vapad, you either want to spend 1 or 3. If you're absolutely trying to kill something, you'll spend 3. If you want to get 4 steps down your tree, you spend 1.
That makes sense.
And it's so good. But I have one gripe with their Force attacks. Mace should have had Force Crush, and Anakin should have had Force Blast. In terms of the name only.
That's fair. I mean, in the Gindi
The Gindi
cartoon,
stuff.
we did literally see him crush Grievous. So I agree with you there. That would have been a nice thing to see.
Yeah, or just call it Force Choke on Anakin. Like, I know it's a violent word, but we all know it's Force Choke.
Yeah, we all know what he's doing.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Empire as a whole, though, right now, I feel they are very solid. I think they're in a better spot they were pre-Bounce Pass. Now they actually have choices. It's not.
Yes, it's not just I'm taking Iden box, I'm taking Gideon box, or I'm taking Iden box, I'm taking Vader, Emperor Servant, insert whatever you want here.
Yeah, now you actually have to choose between, do you want like Grand Inquisitor, do you want Iden, do you want Vader, do you want Krennic? Like, you can almost do like
and the correct answer is you want Grand Inquisitor. If you are running an Empire Premier list and you're doing full Empire, if you're not putting GI in one of those 4 slots, I'm going to come slap you.
I'm in
he
a full
needs
agreement.
To be in all of them.
Well, he's also the Empire's kind of answer. You need him against Anakin. You absolutely do, because none of the other Empire characters, like, yeah, you can go Vader and Krennic, and you can slap Anakin and wound him. And Anakin's going to wound you right back, and then when Anakin wounds, his whole team moves. Like, Grand Inquisitor is that defensive measure that goes, I actually can stop Anakin doing what he wants to do, because you now have 1 secondary and 1 primary who Anakin actually has to work just a little bit harder to kill.
Yeah, he will. he's probably going to need to double tap them just because of their defensive dice with that expertise. I mean, GI, that expertise is already insane, but being able to get up to 7 dice and against a force user, it's good. Reva's got her 6 with her decent conversion rate, and it's the health pool. It's that 9 health on Reva
9
now
health
too.
pool.
Where
Reva takes out crits. Grand Inquisitor
Anakin's
takes
not
out crits.
killing her on 4 steps anymore. He needs 5 into the tree.
Yeah, and then you have Grand Inquisitor who, cool, he can go and slap. If Grand Inquisitor gets that jump on his expertise, even if he's strained, he'll kill himself with the strain. That way Anakin does not get the dash and the extra victory point. Who cares if, like, yeah, I'll give you a wound, but I'm not gonna take the Anakin identity. Like,
yes.
they have
or you're not strained and you get lucky, you just jump away, and then
yeah, and Anakin's just like, oh, sad day. Like, that was my first time playing against Grand Inquisitor. I did the Anakin Mace list into the Grand Inquisitor, and I'm like, well, crap. Anakin doesn't have the dice pool like that Vader does, where it doesn't matter what you do, you're just gonna die, because that's what Vader does. But in Grand Inquisitor, he's a bag of tricks, and he gets extra defense dice.
yes.
And the extra defense dice absolutely helps. That it's so good. He's so good. Like,
so yes, if you're playing Empire, he needs to be in there. If you're going to a showdown event, 1-day event, and you don't take him, I guess I can allow that because there's still plenty of other good options. But if you are rolling Premier in any capacity, he needs to be one of your 4 if you're going full Empire. Why are you going to handicap yourself like that and not take him?
He's so good. Like, he's, in my opinion, he's fighting for top 2 spots on Empire. Him and Iden at this point.
Agreed.
I think Iden is still. You're going to see a lot of her. The UKG, the GT that just happened in England, Mace did win it. Mace and Obi-Wan ended up going 6-0. And he played Mace and Obi 5 of the 6 rounds and didn't lose. And I'm like, I still have to put that on the table. But there's still a ton of Iden, and a ton of Iden did well into the upper levels of the event. And Iden is still here.
Like, yes, very much she is, and she pairs well with GI, like we stated a couple times. It's a good pairing. It's a very good pairing. So get some practice into it if you haven't already. It's probably going to pop off here very shortly if it hasn't already. So just make sure you know how to play into it. It's definitely one of the new Empire boogeymen. It's just very good because it really does shore up Iden's biggest weaknesses. So just be prepared.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. I'm pretty sure you got stuff you want to get going. We've been at it for about an hour and 15 minutes, so
I'm always happy to talk about Empire for as long as possible. It's
near
and dear to my heart.
Good time. This is Qui-Gon Day.